Now this one is a current. I have discussed here current division rule. Here R1, here R2, here I, here I1, here I2. Clear or not? Simply apply both current voltage across this one and this one are same. So I1 R1 this will be equal to I2 R2. Clear or not? Apply KCL at that node. I this will be equal to I1 plus I2. Okay. So what about I2 in the terms of I1? I1 into R1 divided by R2. If this value put here, then I is written as I1 plus I1 into R1 divided by R2. So I1 is written as I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. If this value put here, then we got I2 is I into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear or not? Very simple. But in case of, suppose that here R1, here R2. Okay. Here current I1, here current I2 given, and that is I. Okay. In that case, what about I1 and I2? Or you can say that Ix and Iy. Okay, clear or not? I know that if look here, I1, finally we got I1 is this. If both current direction opposite, then we got I1 is positive, I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. If you apply that formula here, okay. What about compare this one? I is Is, Ix is I1, I2 opposite to I1, I2 is opposite to Iy, so I2 is written as minus Iy. Okay, clear or not? I2 is opposite to Iy, I2 is opposite to Iy, so Is is same as I1, but what about I2? Or you can say the Iy. Iy is written as I2, Iy is written as, if you compare that one, that is minus of Is into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear or not? Very simple. And what about Ix? Ix is I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear or not? Very simple. If any doubt, simple. Now look. Is I1, Is I1, but what about Iy? Iy is opposite to I2. So if you written Ix is same as I1. I1 is I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2 same. So Ix is written as I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. But here current Is. So written Is. Clear? But if you go on here, both current direction is upward. If you remind formula, memorize, I know that if this current direction upward and this one is downward, then is positive. But if both direction upward or both direction is downward, then what about current in branch? You can say that simply minus. Clear or not? Otherwise, you can also compare this one. I2 is minus Iy. So written here I2 minus Iy and I replaced by Is. Then we got Iy is minus Is into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear or not? Simply compare. It means you can say that if you apply current division rule in any circuit, how can check current is positive or negative? Depend upon direction. Unknown current and known current. Okay, that is unknown current and this known current, that is source current. If you determine this current, if both current direction is opposite direction, if this one is upward and this one is downward, or you can say that this one is upward and this one is downward, then Ix is always positive. Okay, Ix is always positive, or you can say that I1 is always positive. Clear or not? Positive I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. But if both direction of current, known and unknown, source current and branch current, both are opposite direction, both current, here Is, here Iy, whatever be the, but direction, first of all check direction. If both direction upward or both direction downward, then that current is minus of this current. Clear or not? Minus of this current into that resistance divided by sum of these two resistance. Clear or not? Make it.